Now, the New York Times reports her campaign is already working on a strategy to go after Donald Trump. The plan reportedly includes attacking him for his temper and his comments about women. But Trump has already shown he's willing to fight back by bringing up some of Bill Clinton's past scandals. Let's bring the panel back. David Cantonese is here, senior politics writer for U.S. News & World Report. Jackie Kucinich, senior politics editor for the Daily Beast, who is also the daughter of John Kucinich, who is a Fox News contributor and politician, and John Bussing. He's the associate editor at the Wall Street Journal. Is this over, Jackie?
Is it over? It's getting there. I mean, I think March 15th is when things really get sort of sad and difficult for Bernie Sanders. But it certainly is going there because he really doesn't have a strategy forward because it's basic math. And whether Democrats on Bernie Sanders' side like it or not, Hillary Clinton's also amassing superdelegates. So that's also going to lead toward her total and, you know, get her all the way to the convention.
Yeah, it's the Democrats, superdelegates. This rule was in place already. They can like it or not like it. It lives.
Yeah, and you're watching her back off of Sanders a bit. You know, why alienate the left of her party if she doesn't have to, if she feels that she's got the win in the bag? And as you point out, they're beginning to think back to November. They are strategizing now, being sure that they take Trump seriously, whereas the Republicans, in their view, did not. Plenty
of Republicans are no way on Trump voters. You don't hear it that much from Sanders voters regarding Clinton, or do you?
You do hear boos when Bernie Sanders mentions her name at rallies.
But do you hear, we would never pivot to her?
No, you don't hear that. There's a different scenario going on in the Democratic primary than the Republican dynamic. But look, Bernie Sanders said today he's going all the way to the convention. So that's sort of an emphatic statement for another guy who's only won one state. Look, there's two sets of primaries tonight. There's the South, where Hillary's going to roll up double digits in states like Alabama and Georgia and Texas. And he's got to win a Massachusetts, a Minnesota, Colorado, somewhere to cling to victory, to have a reason to go on.
Oh, but does he? In this month of February, he raised $43 million, more than the next two or three combined.
Well, right, and that's why he can keep going, is because he's still raking in money. But again, if he doesn't have the delegates to go forward, what happens? Yeah, he'll get to the convention. He'll probably get a really good speaking spot at Hillary Clinton's convention in Philadelphia.
Well, if you have the money, why not spend it?
Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you just consolidate and you accept fate at this point. And look, the machinery is beginning to click into gear here. You have a Democratic machine that's been really left intact. It hasn't fractured the way the Republican has. And you've got Bill Clinton ready to campaign for Hillary. You've got the sitting president of the United States ready to campaign for her. A Democratic Party that is unified, assuming that Sanders doesn't pull off a big surprise today. The Republican Party, meanwhile, that machinery is in tatters. So you have to be looking now toward November. This is going to be a race to watch. But it seems to favor Hillary at this point.
I read in Politico today, unnamed insiders in the Trump camp saying he will not self-fund in the general election. He absolutely will not, and doesn't have the organization to compete.
You know, we're going to see, because a lot of the same insiders that were cited in that publication in July said that he could never win a single vote in a primary or caucus state. So Trump has proven a lot of us wrong, humbled a lot of us. I think tonight, though, Hillary is going to start looking forward. I think in her speech tonight, she's going to start looking at Trump more and more. She's not going to make a contrast with Sanders, especially if she's rolling up victories. She's ready to make that contrast with Trump, especially as she sees the infighting and some of the people saying they won't vote for Trump underneath.
Is there a big group of moderates who may in the end say, I don't want whoever the Democrat is? Let's go with Trump. He seems on point and right on American to me.
Moderates in the Democratic Party or the moderates in the... I mean, I'm sure it's possible when you're talking about Reagan Democrats who don't like Hillary Clinton and maybe skeptical of her on a lot of different levels. It's certainly not impossible, particularly in 2016. But just to add what Dave was saying, when you talk to Bernie Sanders voters, what they say right now is a lot of them, at least the ones I've spoken to, say, you know, it's not that I hate Hillary Clinton. I just really like Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I'll probably vote for her, but right now I want to vote with my heart, even though I'm not voting with my head right now, which they don't add that last part. But
Democrats want Donald Trump, but you need to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, and Jackie's point's right. You know, that I think that you would see a unifying Democratic Party as a result of that. The Sanders voters being disappointed, but they would unify generally around Hillary. David's point's very much worth taking seriously. We have underestimated Trump's capability. Yes, he doesn't have the field organization. He doesn't have the national organization. He doesn't apparently have the Republican Party
or the
leadership behind him.
No.
But look where he is in the campaign. This is really an extraordinary event. It has a lot to do with U.S. demographics, about economics, about kind of the last 10, 15, 20 years in the United States of advantage and disadvantage for people, of income inequality. All those things are playing into this election. We can't underestimate this vibe, this zeitgeist that's propelling him forward.
And in the New York Times article, I thought it was very interesting that the person sounding the alarm to take Trump seriously was Bill Clinton.
Yep.
The campaign was sort of laughing at Trump, watching the debates. They had an
Y'all
anecdote.
better pay attention.
And Bill Clinton said, no, this guy is tapping into something. We better take him very seriously. So he's going to be the guy to take it.
You have to
Bill, the
manage
voice
that,
of reason.
Well, that debate prep is going to look very different than if Hillary Clinton was facing off against someone like a Marco Rubio.
She's always been very good at playing the victim or finding herself in a victim's position. Look how she was last cycle in New Hampshire when it was just one tier and one promise, and all of a sudden we have a new campaign.
But you could also see Trump throwing her off with how
I
the
see him
vitriol.
throwing anyone off.
Well, exactly. And so they're going to have to figure out how to contend with that. I'm sure they're going to be studying tape like football teams do and with these Republican debates.
But the women after whom he's gone in the past, one who works around here and Carly Fiorina, neither of them wilted it anyway, and I didn't see it hurting either one of them very much.
Yeah, you know,
Personally.
let's watch some of the demographics today. Let's see how women vote. Let's see how African Americans vote. Let's see how Latinos vote. That will determine a lot of the trend going into the national election. If you see a big turnout of African Americans and Latinos, that would theoretically benefit Hillary in a national election. Whether they're voting for, you know, the Democrats en masse now will be an indication of what might be to come.
The Republicans have been talking about a silent majority. You hear about this at Trump rally. What are they? These are angry, young, white men. So as much as we talk about Hispanics and African American and women as a critical, Trump is betting on a different demographic, that you are going to boost white male turnout, something we haven't really seen, you don't hear as much talked about. That is the base of his coalition, and that's the only way he wins in November.
David, Jackie, John, thank you. This was